Oh, good old Turnip-Head, simply a spelled prince who just loves Sophie so. How cute, how tragically romantic, how originally terrifying. Why did Turnip-Head always give me the too creepy Hollow Man Jack stalker vibes? The answer, of course, is in the book, and in the terrifyingly different use and portrayals of turnips across cultures, but I digress. But before we dig too deeply into the roots of turnip lore, if you like books and stories, I think you'll really dig my second channel, A Bit Late, where I read fairy tales, ghost stories, long books, and even video game lore 2 times per week. And wouldn't you know, I recently read some turnip lore there too. Check it out if you love literature, lore, or need yet another voice inside your head in the dead of night. I hope to see you there. But now that you're here, back to the show. By now, you probably know that there are a lot of differences between the book Howl's Moving Castle and the movie. And if you didn't, might I suggest checking out this video here. It's exhaustive and brain-melting and entirely too much to recap in our current video, so be warned. But today, I want to focus on the characters, you'll see, that brought me actual nightmares. The Turnip Man. Dun dun dun. Much of where my shivers come from is how turnips are portrayed in different cultures. Turnips seem super cute in games and such. My experience with turnips from a young age was not cute. Turnips were the earthy, grubby, creepy precursors of the jack-o'-lanterns we know and love. And they look a bit too much like a real shrunken, decayed human head. On purpose? As they were intended to keep away harmful spirits and demons. And they have some really interesting lore, like Jack of the Lantern or Stingy Jack, a shrewd man who apparently traps Satan. Right. In exchange for Satan's freedom, Jack makes him promise not to take his soul when he dies. One day Jack, of course, dies, but he was not exactly good enough for heaven, and Satan promised not to take him below, so he is doomed forevermore to roam the earth looking for a resting place. Never stopping, never resting. Always searching, with only an ironic burning coal, which he puts into a carved-out turnip, his favorite food, for light. Poor guy with my limited sympathy. But imagine seeing old Jack and his fairy demon light turnip lantern in the lonely country at night. Don't follow it. Gives me Will-o'-the-Wisp vibes for sure. Now, Diana Wynn Jones's book takes place in such a Western folklore setting where fairy tale tropes, 7-league boots, and the like are the norm. So, rather than imagining a cute smiley guy helpfully following Sophie around, I envision a decaying creeper from folklore legends hobbling its shabby way onto the castle on its, unknown until the end of the book, dutiful quest. For example, some choice creeper descriptions as Turnip Man blocks Sophie's exit from the castle. The turnip face leered at her. She smelled mildew. Against the wide blue sky, a ragged arm ending in the stump of a stick wheeled round and tried to paw at her. It was only made of sticks and rags, but it was alive, and it was trying to come in. The scarecrow's stick arm thumped on the door and then went scraping along the wall of the castle as the castle left it behind. It wheeled its other arm round and seemed to try to clutch the stonework. It meant to get into the castle if it could. Throughout the whole book, this scarecrow is dogged in its pursuit of the castle. And it's more than a little unnerving, getting closer and closer with each day. Never stopping, never resting, always searching. Poor guy, with all of my sympathy. Also, its backstory is way more gruesome than in the movie, but you probably guessed that. The Miyazaki movie Turnip-Head is adorable. There's just no way around this. The uppity hop, the pipey smile, the gentlemanly demeanor, and the way they ingratiate themselves into the Howl household. Cute, adorable, absolutely not how it is in the Diana Wynn Jones book. There it is definitely not a prince, but a rotting turnip scarecrow that actively stalks in the moving castle for the duration of the extremely confusing story. For an extremely confusing reason. All the while looking everything like a decayed, rotting human head. Creepy. And that's not the half of it. Here's the creepy crown jewel, the spooky spoiler central, so turnip heads up. The nail in the coffin of Turnip-Head's terrifying reason for being. In the book, Wizard Ben Solomon was sent to defeat the Witch of the Waste. He attempts to weaken her by planting a plethora of flowers on the border to her domain, the Waste. Familiar, right? She finds and captures him, but Wizard Solomon has just enough strength and magic left to cast a spell on a turnip-headed scarecrow to find him and presumably rescue him. The spell works, but the scarecrow is stumped on where to go, as Ben's body has been, separated into a few pieces. This poor creepy turnip man does not know where to go first, and is nearly hopeless when Sophie comes along and sets him upright. Meanwhile, the King of Ingary sends his brother and celebrated war mastermind, Prince Justin, to find Wizard Solomon, as the nation is on the brink of war and he needs his best military minds. Prince Justin, who is not spelled to be Happy Turnip Man, meets a very similar, separate, gross fate as Wizard Solomon. And why all the pieces? Well, turns up the Witch of the Wast's own fire demon, Lily Angorian, has burned through the witch and is seeking a new host. The perfect host, which she is creating out of pieces and parts of Wizard Solomon, Prince Justin, and soon, Wizard Howl's head. The witch thinks her jigsaw person will be the new King of Ingary and she will rule as queen, which I have questions about that plan, anyway, doesn't matter. Lily Angorian has other notions and she's the real baddie. The book is graphic about this stuff in a blunt sort of way, hence the creep says one with an overactive imagination. Anyway, when Book Turnip-Head does finally reach the moving castle in all of his creepy shuffling, stalking, and hopping, he takes the seemingly random and now eagerly chattering skull that Howl bought and keeps around on a whim and absorbs it into his turnip face. It begins to speak in a mushy sort of voice about how it still has more body parts to locate. So just to check in, that's a rotting turnip face head thing shoving a moving and chattering skull into its rotting turnip flesh, and then talking. Hello, nightmares, my old friends. So between howled out glowing turnip lantern faces, the general nature of rotting turnip heads, the chattering skull absorption, and the body splicing, I think I know where my creeps and shivers come from in regards to good old Turnip-Head, and I find it fascinating. Of course, Turnip-Head changed in the movie for thematic reasons that I go over in the book versus movie video, but the more interesting a character is to me, the more they stick around in my brain, for better or for worse. And now, what are some of your thoughts? What are some of the most memorable characters in Howl's Moving Castle to you? Do you have any creepy turnip stories? How about recipes gone terribly wrong? Oh no! Let me know in the comments below. And if you need some stories, don't forget to check out A Bit Late. Thank you, friends and fiends, for turning up for this grubby dive into the roots of Turnip-Head's origins. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next weird adventure and say hello while you're here. See you soon. Goodbye.